For many people, the day treatment finishes is not the day life returns to normal. Hospitals may be left behind, appointments may become less frequent, and the hardest moments may seem to pass. But healing often continues quietly, one day at a time. A cancer diagnosis changes more than the body. It changes the way people see the future, the way families hold on to hope, and the way ordinary moments suddenly become deeply meaningful. That is why Princess Kate's recent return to a cancer care center carried a significance that reached far beyond a royal schedule. She was not stepping into an unfamiliar place. She was returning to an environment that had become part of her own story, a place where uncertainty, courage, and determination exist side by side every single day. Around her were doctors, nurses, volunteers, patients, and families. Some were celebrating progress. Others were still facing difficult treatments. Each person carried a different experience, but all shared the quiet understanding that healing is rarely a straight path. For Princess Kate, this was not simply another public engagement. It was a deeply personal act of empathy. Having faced her own health battle, she understood that recovery is not measured only by medical results. It is found in the support of loved ones, in the kindness of strangers, and in the strength people discover when they never expected to need it. There was no need for grand speeches or dramatic gestures. Sometimes simply showing up can carry a powerful message. Her visit became a reminder that people who have walked through hardship often develop a deeper connection with those still finding their way through it. Shared experiences create a kind of understanding that words alone cannot express. And perhaps that is what makes this story so meaningful. It is not only the story of a princess returning to a place connected to her own recovery. It is the story of resilience. It is the story of compassion. And above all, it is the story of human connection. The quiet bond that forms when one person reaches out and reminds another that they are not facing the journey alone. Because healing does not always happen in a single moment. Sometimes it happens through hope, sometimes through kindness, and sometimes through the simple decision to stand beside those who are still fighting. To understand why this visit resonated with so many people, it is important to look back at the journey that brought Princess Kate to this moment. In 2024, the Princess of Wales revealed that she had been diagnosed with cancer and had begun a course of preventative chemotherapy. The announcement was deeply personal, yet it was shared with honesty and dignity, offering a rare glimpse into the challenges faced behind palace walls. For millions watching around the world, the news was a reminder that serious illness does not recognize titles or positions. It can touch any family, bringing with it uncertainty, fear, and difficult decisions. Over the months that followed, Princess Kate gradually stepped away from many public duties, choosing to focus on her health and her family. Her absence was met with messages of support from people who saw their own experiences reflected in her story. The following year, she shared the encouraging news that she was cancer-free. While the announcement brought relief, it also carried an important message. Reaching the end of treatment is not the end of the journey. Recovery often involves patience, adjustment, and a renewed appreciation for the people who provide care and support along the way. Since then, her public appearances have increasingly highlighted the importance of compassion, medical research, and the communities that stand beside patients and their families. Rather than allowing her experience to remain a private chapter, she has used it to encourage greater awareness of the realities many people face every day. Her commitment comes at a time when cancer remains a subject of deep national and global concern. Public conversations about early detection, access to treatment, and emotional support continue to play a vital role in helping patients and families navigate difficult circumstances. The wider royal family has also been living through its own health challenges. King Charles III's ongoing cancer treatment has added another layer of understanding to these conversations, reminding the public that resilience and hope are shared experiences, even within one of the world's most recognized families. Together, these events have quietly reshaped the royal narrative. The focus is no longer only on ceremonies and traditions, but also on the human experiences that connect public figures with ordinary people. That is what gave this engagement its special significance. It was not simply a return to royal duty. It was the continuation of a personal journey, one that reflects the courage of countless patients, the dedication of healthcare workers, and the importance of keeping the conversation about cancer care and research alive for future generations. The importance of Princess Kate's journey became even clearer through the events that followed. Her day began with a reception at St. James's Palace, where researchers, medical professionals, charity leaders, and supporters gathered to celebrate the progress being made in the fight against cancer. The event was not only about scientific achievement, but also about the thousands of people whose lives have been changed by years of dedication and innovation. Behind every new treatment and every medical breakthrough are teams of individuals working quietly, often away from the public eye, to give patients and families more hope for the future. From there, the princess continued to the Christie in Manchester, one of Europe's leading cancer centers and a place known for its commitment to research, treatment, and patient care. Rather than focusing attention on herself, she spent much of the visit listening. She met with doctors and nurses who devote their lives to supporting people through some of their most difficult moments. She spoke with patients who are still facing treatment and with families who stand beside their loved ones through every appointment and every uncertain day. These were not hurried introductions. They were quiet conversations built around shared experiences, understanding, and encouragement. For many of those present, they were moments of simple human connection. One of the most touching parts of the visit came during a therapeutic art session. Creative activities like painting and drawing can provide patients with a brief escape from the routines of treatment, offering a chance to express feelings that are often difficult to put into words. Sitting alongside participants, Princess Kate joined an environment where the focus was not on titles or public roles, but on reflection, healing, and hope. The scene carried a quiet message. Recovery is not shaped only by medicine. It is also supported by community, creativity, and the small moments that help people rediscover a sense of normal life. Throughout the visit, there was also a clear effort to recognize those who rarely seek recognition for themselves. Doctors, nurses, researchers, therapists, volunteers, and support staff each play a different role, but together they create a network of care that extends far beyond hospital walls. Their work often involves long hours, emotional resilience, and an unwavering commitment to helping others. The princess took time to acknowledge that dedication, highlighting the importance of every person involved in a patient's journey. Yet perhaps the most meaningful part of the day was something that could not be planned or formally arranged. It was the quiet understanding that existed between someone who had experienced the uncertainty of a cancer diagnosis and those who are still living through it. Her presence was not meant to suggest that every journey is the same. Every patient faces unique challenges and different outcomes, long after the official photographs are taken and the public engagements come to an end. It is often the quiet moments that stay with people. For many of the patients and families who met Princess Kate, the visit was more than a meeting with a member of the royal family. It was an encounter with someone who understood that a cancer journey is filled with questions that medicine alone cannot always answer. After the visit, the princess shared a thoughtful public message reflecting on what she had experienced. Her words carried a simple but important truth. Healing is about more than treating a disease. It involves the mind, the body, and emotional well-being, all of which deserve care and attention. That message resonated because it reflected a reality that countless patients already know. A cancer diagnosis can bring fear long before treatment begins. It can fill ordinary days with uncertainty and place emotional weight on entire families. There are anxious nights waiting for test results, difficult conversations with loved ones, and moments when even small signs of progress can feel incredibly significant. The experience often reaches far beyond hospital rooms. Parents worry about their children. Children worry about their parents. Friends search for the right words. And families try to stay strong for one another, even when they are carrying their own fears. In these moments, compassionate care becomes just as meaningful as medical expertise. The doctors, nurses, therapists, counselors, and support workers who walk beside patients every day understand that recovery is not only a physical process. A kind conversation, a reassuring smile, or simply taking the time to listen can help ease the loneliness that many people experience during treatment. That was one of the lasting messages of the visit. The fight against cancer is supported not only by research and technology, but also by humanity. It is strengthened by people who choose to care for others during some of the most difficult chapters of their lives. Princess Kate's own experience may have given her a deeper connection with the people she met that day. She did not need to imagine the uncertainty that can come with a diagnosis or the emotional challenges that continue after treatment. She had walked a path that, while unique to her own circumstances, allowed her to understand some of the fears and hopes shared by so many others. Perhaps that is why the conversations felt so genuine. There was no attempt to present recovery as simple or predictable. Instead, there was an acknowledgement that healing can be slow, that setbacks can happen, and that courage is often found in the quiet decision to keep moving forward. For the medical staff, the visit also served as a recognition of their work and dedication. Their efforts are often measured through clinical results, but they also leave a lasting impact through compassion, patience, and empathy. And for the wider public, as meaningful as this visit was, its greatest significance may lie in what it represents beyond a single day. Cancer is often described as a medical condition, but for those who live through it, the experience reaches into every part of life. It can affect relationships, confidence, daily routines, and even the way people see themselves and their future. The physical treatment may happen in hospitals and clinics, but the emotional journey continues in homes, workplaces, and quiet moments when no one else is around. That is why modern cancer care has increasingly embraced a broader understanding of healing. Medicine remains at the heart of recovery, but many healthcare professionals also recognize the value of emotional support, well-being programs, and creative activities that help people cope with the challenges they face. The therapeutic art session that Princess Kate joined offered a simple example of this approach. For some patients, painting, drawing, or other creative activities provide a way to express emotions that are difficult to explain. They create moments of calm in lives that may have become dominated by appointments, treatments, and uncertainty. These spaces are not meant to replace medical care. Instead, they remind people that recovery is about more than fighting a disease. It is also about preserving identity, restoring confidence, and creating opportunities for joy, even during difficult times. At the center of this idea is a simple belief. Patients should be treated as whole individuals. Every person brings their own story, fears, hopes, and dreams into the treatment process. Compassionate healthcare recognizes that emotional well-being and physical health are deeply connected, and that caring for one often helps strengthen the other. This is also where public figures can play an important role. When someone in the public eye chooses to speak openly about personal health challenges, it can help reduce the fear and stigma that sometimes surrounds serious illness. It reminds people that asking for help is not a sign of weakness and that vulnerability can create understanding rather than division. Princess Kate's willingness to share parts of her own journey has allowed many people to see that they are not alone in their struggles. Her experience does not erase the hardships faced by others, but it can encourage conversations that many families might otherwise find difficult to begin. In many ways, this message feels especially meaningful during National Cancer Survivors Month. The occasion is not only about celebrating those who have completed treatment. It is also about honoring every stage of the journey, the patients still fighting, the families offering support, the healthcare teams providing care, and the loved ones remembered by those they leave behind. Survival itself can have many meanings. For some, it is reaching the end of treatment. For others, it is finding the strength to face another day with hope. In many ways, Princess Kate's visit was about more than looking back on her own experience. It reflected a journey that has taken her from being a patient, facing uncertainty, to becoming an advocate for understanding, awareness, and compassionate care. While every cancer story is different, her willingness to share part of her own path has helped shine a light on the experiences of countless others. Yet this story does not belong to one person alone. It belongs to the patients who wake up each day determined to keep going, even when the road ahead feels uncertain. It belongs to the families who offer quiet strength through long hospital visits and difficult conversations. And it belongs to the doctors, nurses, researchers, therapists, and caregivers whose dedication brings comfort as well as care. Their courage is often found in ordinary moments: a reassuring smile, a hand held during treatment, a conversation that brings hope when hope feels difficult to find. These small acts may never make headlines, but they become an essential part of the healing process. The visit also leaves behind an important reminder that medicine, while powerful, is only one part of recovery. Compassion, understanding, and human connection can help carry people through challenges that no prescription alone can solve. Perhaps that is why this moment resonated so deeply. It showed that vulnerability can become a source of strength, that shared experiences can build bridges between strangers, and that kindness has the power to ease even the heaviest burdens. For those still facing a diagnosis, for families waiting for good news, and for everyone who has ever been touched by cancer, stories like these offer something simple but meaningful. They remind us that no journey is walked entirely alone, and maybe that is the quiet lesson at the heart of this story. Courage is not always loud. Healing is not always quick. But when people choose to stand beside one another with empathy and hope, even the most difficult paths can become a little easier to travel. Because in the end, the greatest strength we share is not the ability to avoid hardship. It is the ability to face it together, to care for one another, and to believe that every step toward healing can become a light for someone else, still searching for the way forward.